Vande Vrindavanacharam Mallavijana Vallabham Jayanti Sambhavam Dhama Vaijayanti Vibhushanam. I think we finished with the 59th shloka. Yad ekam aksharam brahma sarva amnaya samanvitam tarakam sarva jantunam tattvam tavacha vachakam. So the devas are praising Vishnu as he is the Parabrahman here, and he is understood by the Vedas. Sarva Amnaya Samanvitam, one who is present in all the Vedas, and he is represented by the Aksharam, Ekaksharam, which is Om, that is his Vachaka Shabda. Any word that can, with which we can talk, with which we can indicate the Parabrahman, which is Vishnu, then Om is the word that we say. Then the next one is Tvad Alambita Hastanam Bhavad Unmajjatam Satam Majjataf Papajatasya Nasti Hastavalambanam. It's a very nice expression here. Tvad Alambita Hastanam, those who have caught on to your hand. So Tvad Alambita can mean those who have your hand as their Alambana Vastu. So those who have been uplifted by you. Tvaya uddharanaya grihita hastanam. So those who have been, those whose hands have been caught by you. Tvaya alambitaha hastaha yeshante. So it's for about the people, those good people who have extended their hands, and Bhagavan has also caught their hands. So usually then devotees take one step, Bhagavan will take 100 steps here. So he will come automatically, and he has kai patradungrona. So tvaya alambita hastanam satam sajjananam bhavat unmajjatam, those who want to get out of this bhava samsara, those who want to get out of the cycle of janma and punarjanma, unmajjatam, majjatam ityukte, they are sinking into it. Bandhat tatra, they are completely going into this samsara. But unmajjata, ut always means standing up, like we say uttishtati, right? So ut would always represent something to come away from. So unmajjatam here means those who want to liberate themselves from this samsara. So bhavat unmajjatam satam Tvat alambita hastanam bhavat unmajjatam satam. Now this part is fine. How can they get out of this samsara? Only if they reduce their papam completely to zero can they get out of this samsara. As long as they have their list of papam, sins, continuously there, it is very difficult for them to get liberated and get out of this world, because they have to take a janma to go through that experience, that karma that they have already accumulated in their life. Right? So for that papa jatam ityukte atra samohaha iti. Jatavachi shabdaha, you take it for to indicate samoham. If I say the vriksha jatam, then it means vriksha samohaha ityartaha. Now, imagine you are trying to cleanse yourself as you take a deep dip inside a river. What happens? All your dirt that is there on your body, it will go down into the river and you will come out clean. Have this image in mind. So as the good people or the devotees are all sinking inside this samsara, but they want to get out of this samsara, Bhagavan has already given his hand and caught their hand. As they come out, the malam or the dirt that is there, which is in the form of papajatam, will completely go down and be in that samudram. It will go and be in this samsara alone, in this jagat only. So they will be freed of all of that. So what will happen to the papam that has been left down? Is there any way in which we can get it out? There is no hastavalambanam for that. Majjataha papajatasya, the sins that have all gone down into the samudram, samsara samudram, they cannot come out at all. Hastavalambanam nasti. or for those people who are constantly doing papam and not even thinking about moksha, they come back to the samsara and they do not have any body to lift them up. There is no upliftment for people who are constantly thinking about doing wrong to others or hurting others. So here you can take Papa Jata not only as Papa Samoham, but those who are like a personification of the Papa and constantly performing sins. Okay. So Twadalambita Hastana. You want to start with the Pratipadartha? Shankari. Okay, Swati. Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Mahoday, one question. This Hastavalambanam means uplifting, illaya?
So literal meaning is Kaipidittal. Catching hold of the hand.
Here, does it mean like Marujanma or something? No, right?
Marujanmam na? Illa moksham.
Oh, okay.
Moksha da. Inge vande Hastavalambanam nale. It means liberation. Total moksham and sayujyam being in Vaikuntham.
Okay.
அதுதான் அதாவது இவாளை கைப்பிடிச்சு தேத்துறதுக்கு ஒண்ணுமே கிடையாது. அவ்வளவு பாப்பம் பண்ணிருக்கா. அப்படியே they just sink into the ocean of samsara.
Okay.
Yeah. And it is talking with respect to the papis, or it is talking only with respect to those people who have taken a refuge, right? It's who is taking more effort is from the people side, right?
இல்ல Tvaya alambita hastanamnu irukku. It is only
but
an
he
effort.
Doesn't have to do the alambanam, right? Only we have to do the alambanam of Bhagavan, right?
இல்ல இங்க வந்து எப்படின்னா, see, when you are sinking in a river, it works both ways. You reach out your hand, but only if the stick or another person's hands comes near you can you catch hold of it. Because நம்ம வந்து அப்படியே அந்த பிரவாகத்துல we are completely அடிச்சுட்டு போகுது நம்மள. We are swept away by the whole pravaham. So it is difficult for us to wade through and get the hold of a hand. Karela irukkrava, he is more steady. So Bhagavan here is a more steady person, whereas we are being swept by the samsara. Current. Adnale it's very difficult for us to go near Bhagavan and catch hold of him. So he has to come and give his hand for us to hold on to.
So then all of us are having that kind of samsara, we are getting swept away. So that means we have to make some effort, and then some selected individuals are getting given the help too.
Yes, our effort lies in the fact that we recognize that there is a Lord there, Vishnu is there, and that we have to extend our hand towards him. That is enough. அதுவே இல்லாத no, being swept away by this is my karma, this is what I am destined for, there is nobody there on the banks to save me அப்படின்ற இருந்த அவ்வளவுதான், நேர போய் வாட்டர்ஃபால்ல விழுந்து தலையில அடிச்சுக்கணும்.
प्रतिपदार्थः त्वदालम्बितहस्तानां त्वया उद्धरणाय गृहीतहस्तानां भवात् संसारात् उन्मज्जतां मुच्यमानानां सतां ब्रह्मविदां मज्जतः निमज्जतः पापजातस्य तत्सम्बन्धि पापसमूहस्य हस्तावलम्बनं.
तत्सम्बन्धि here is सत्सम्बन्धि, सतां सज्जनानां सम्बद्धत्वेन यः पापसमूहः वर्तते स पापसमूहः तु निमज्जति संसारे.
हस्तावलम्बनम् उपरि उद्धरणाय हस्तदानं नास्ति न भवति किल. So all their papam will be like a sediment and they will go and settle down at the bottom of the samsara. And they will be uplifted. Bhavaha Bhagavatah anugrihītānaṁ satpurushanam sarva papa vinasho bhavati tena tesham samsare punaravritir na bhavati.
So Bhagavat anugraham yesham vartate. So those people who have Bhagavat Prasada, tesham tu sarva papa vinashaha bhavati. That is, the papam does not come back and stick on to them. That is why samsare punaha avrittihi nasti. They do not return back to the samsara. In Shruti also, in Vedavakyam, there is nasapunaravartate ityasti. So a Brahmagnani does not come back into this world because he is let go of all his karma. So todalambita hastanam bhavad unmajjatam satam majjataf papajatasya nasti hastavalambanam. Okay. இதெல்லாம் வந்து you can also note that there is alankara here. Nasti hasta avalambanam. The repetition of letters vritti anuprasa is there. So majjatam satam hastanam. There is a repetition of letters. If you want, you can mention anuprasa also when you are writing, because this is there for ERC. That's why I've highlighted it. Sasandarbha. Ananya raksha vratinam चातक व्रतचारिणः भवन्तम् अवलम्बन्ते निरालम्बन भावनम्. निरालम्बन भावनम् भवन्तम् अवलम्बन्ते के चातक व्रतचारिणः. So चातक व्रतचारिणः जनाः भगवद् भक्ताः. So there are devotees who are like this chataka birds. Chataka birds are those which only look for the clouds for their ahara, for their water. They do not go and in search of water elsewhere, and they do not drink water from somewhere else. They are totally devoted only to the megham. நம்ம தமிழ்ல வந்து பூமியை வந்து ரெண்டா பிரிப்போம். We read this in Samskrita Bodhini also. Deva matrika, nadi matrika iti. அதாவது வானம் பார்த்த பூமி, இது நம்ம இரிகேஷன்னால பண்ற பூமி அப்படின்னு சொல்றோம் இல்லையா? So there are two types of bhumi. Devamatrika, which is from the, whenever there is rainfall, that is when the crops will grow. So the crop cycle is determined based on the weather. They don't depend on irrigation. That is a different kind of thing. Another is Nadi Matrikaha, where you get irrigation channels and you try to grow the crops. There it doesn't depend on the megham at all. Here this chataka birds are something like the devamatrika, vanam patta bhumi vari. Chataka vrata charinaha. There are some devotees who are like these chataka birds, wherein they only look at one source, which is Vishnu. Those devotees bhavantam avalambante, they catch hold of you, they depend on you completely. You who are ananya raksha vratinam, you have also taken on a vratam, a vow to protect only them. Those who are all ekanta bhaktas, only those you protect. Iti tadrisham vratam tu tvayapi swikritam. So adnala it matches really well between you and your devotees. So ananya raksha vratinam, anya ananyaha ityukte ekantinaha. Those who do not think of anya devata. Anya devatan ye na upasante te eva ananyaha bhaktaha ityuchyate. Tari ananya bhaktaha ye vartante tan rakshitum vratam swikritavan bhagavan. So he has taken on a vow to protect other devotees here, to protect devotees who do not think of other devatas. Tadrisham tvam bhavantam avalambante. Now, how do they catch hold of you? This is a kriya visheshana here. Niralambana bhavanam yatha syat tatha. They have a bhavana, an emotion. The way they do a sharanagati or prapatti is such that they completely surrender. They completely surrender in a sense that they have no other option. Niralambanam. Niralambanam, there is no other alambanam. There is no other support for them. With such a feeling in mind, they come in Sharanagati to you. Is that clear?
Like Draupadi.
Ama. Complete.
Until then, he didn't help. Until then.
Yeah. Pratipadartha.
Ananya raksha vratinam ananyaha ekantinah tesham rakshaiva vratamasya tadrisham. So, Mahodaya, this Niralambana Bhavana is the same as the Ananya Raksha Pratinam, இல்லையா?
இல்ல. So, இது என்னன்னா, ananya raksha vratinam is an adjective to bhavantam, as in Vishnu.
Okay.
Niralambana bhavanam is an adverb. How do they surrender? They surrender with an idea of complete, அதாவது they don't have any other support. அப்படிங்கிற ஒரு
Helpless
feeling.
state.
Helpless,
Totally.
in a helpless state, they surrender. அப்போ that in a helpless state, helplessly, அப்படிங்கிறது தான் இந்த நிராலம்பன பாவனம். It's like an adverb.
Okay.
It's not like they are taking help from little bit from Vishnu, little bit from some other god like that. It's only totally one god, which is
அதுதான் அவ விசிஷ்டாத்வைதத்தினுடைய இதுவே, when they do bharanyasam, it means nyasaha. They completely place themselves in Bhagavan, totally, in total surrender. Everything is an action of Bhagavan, that's all. There is nothing, there is no self-action there, there is no self-thought there. Everything is what he does, that's all.
that is for elevated souls, but for some people who are not in that kind of mature state, they also should have little bit of, if not total moksha, little bit of uplifting and elevation should be given to such people, right? Like how, like nama ucharnam is there, means Narayana, if you do, then all the papas will be done.
Everything
like
has
that.
its own effect. Whatever little bit you do, see, there are two ways that it gets translated. One is you have a good, let's say, you collect your punya papam, punyam, right? So your punya balance sheet that keeps going up. The credit of punya keeps going up because of all this namasmaranam, etc. Okay. Number two is, this becomes a samskara wherein it translates into the next janmas. எங்க விட்டோமோ அங்கேருந்து ஆரம்பிப்போம். You start off from where you left off. So which means இப்போ, if we have struggled for say 15 days to get into that mode, you may not struggle so much for 15 days, but you will be struggling for 30 days to get into the next stage. You would have crossed the first stage. The first stage would have come easily for you. See, there are people who don't know how to do namasmaranam. There are people who don't spend time on meditation. Probably when you have stressed yourself and done so much this time, the next time that step would be easier step.
Easier.
அதுதான் விட்ட இடத்துல பிடிப்போங்கிறது தான்.
भवन्तं त्वां चातकव्रतचारिणः यथा चातकाः जलधर एकसेवनपरा तथा त्वदेकनियताः.
So just as how Chataka birds are paraha, sevana paraha, para ityukte tatpara, they're completely involved in only looking up to. Sevanam is they only see Jaladhara Eka Sevana. They only look at the meghas. In the same way, Twadeka Niyataha. Niyata is they are involved. It's the same meaning.
So I think this Niralambana is Ananya Ashrita Pratinah, இல்லையா? Instead of, I think I said Ananya Raksha Pratinam.
That is what is given there, right? Ananya Raksha Vratinam is all.
அது வந்து Ananya Raksha
for Bhagavan, இல்லையா?
ஆமா, அது
Ananya Ashrita Vratinah is, that is also the same thing. Ananya Raksha.
எங்க இருக்கு Ananya Ashraya Vratinahana?
இல்ல, அது நான் கேக்குறேன்.
You are asking if it is Niralambana Bhavanam iti. If you want to take it as a Chataka Vratacharinaha, as an adjective for that, then you should say Niralambana Bhavanaha Chataka Vratacharinaha. அதாவது அனன்ய ரக்ஷாங்கிறச்சு அனன்ய ஆசிரயங்கிறது சொல்லக்கூடாது. அனன்ய ஆசிரய மீன்ஸ் யூ அந்நிய ஆசிரயா யதா ந ஸ்யாத் ததா அப்படிங்கிற. ஓகே, அனன்யாஸ்ரய பாவனா அங்க இருக்கணும்.
பாவனா.
இட்ஸ் நாட் அ விரதம்.
Okay.
Okay.
What's the difference between bhavana and vratam?
Vratamna can be forceful. Bhavana is more like a feeling. So it is more natural nu thondrathu.
Oh, vratam has got some karma part
Niyamas.
also. Bhavana does it, it's only mental part.
Yeah, it's just a mental part. There is nobody can say anything about bhavana here. Vratam has, we can do a vratam as is stated in the rule book. That we can follow. But who is to dictate the bhavana in the mind? Whether that is also their involvement is there in the mind or not. Adu vera thane.
So bhavana is more difficult to do than
Oh,
the
of course.
vratam.
Amama.
Bhavana is very, very difficult.
Yes.
Yeah.
Huh.
Niralambana bhavanam bhakti yogadi upayantara rahitena manovyaparena.
So you don't even go to bhakti yogam or jnana yogam, karma yogam, none of those things. Bhakti yogadi upayantara rahitena manovyaparena. With the mind, which is vyapara, is the mental state. With a mental state that is such that you think there is no other margam for you.
Okay.
Ananya.
Ananyadhinatva bhavana vyanchaka karmana va.
So, or either the mind is such that you think there is no other resort for me, or your actions should vyanjaka, it should manifest in such a manner that you have this feeling of nobody is my support. எனக்கு வேற யாருமே கதி இல்லப்பா, நாராயணர் தான் கதி அப்படிங்கிறது. It should either be your attitude or it should be reflected in your actions.
Mahodaya, that bhakti yoga upayantara rahitena. So, but bhakti yoga is different from the prapatti, right? So, why
Bhakti
did they talk
yogadi.
about? Oh, yogadi. Okay.
Upayantara. Bhakti
So,
yoga
bhakti
adi.
yogadi, so it is including the prapatti.
Prapatti illa. Bhakti yoga, jnana yoga, karma yoga. The word yoga itself gives you a clue that he is talking about these three yogas. Prapatti, Sharanagati is completely different. Prapatti is one step higher than Sharanagati. So this shloka is talking about Prapatti here.
Why didn't they directly use that word instead of putting the
அவருக்கு சும்மா
bhakti and
உங்களுக்கு vocabulary
confusing?
கொடுக்கணும்.
Oh, prapatti is different from sharanagatiya.
ஆமாமா. ஐயோ, சரணாகதி வந்து you are expecting something in return also in that refuge. Prapattina, nothing. See, Sharanagatiila there is the concept of I. I am taking refuge in you. Prapatti is like total surrender.
You don't care about what happens to you at that time.
அது வந்து for Vaishnavas, Prapatti is the highest form.
Avalambante prapadyante.
Ada Prapattiingre.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bhavaha rakshakam bhavantam twadekaya
Tvad ekayatta chittam. Ayatta chitta.
Tvad ekayatta chittaha swa akinchanya vyanchaka bhakti margena prapadyante.
So rakshakam bhavantam prapadyante. People completely do a total prapatti towards you, who are the protector. So rakshakam bhavantam prapadyante. Ke prapadyante tvad ekayatta chittaha. Those who have a chittam which is completely filled with only you. Eka ayattam. You are the only thing that is there in their mind. And swa akinchana. Akinchanyam, akinchanya vyanjaka bhakti margena. They do bhakti marga, not bhakti yogam, but it is more like a swasmin kinchana na vidyate iti. They vyanjaka, that is they manifest, they show their poverty in this case. They don't have anything else in themselves, nothing subsists for them according to their power. It is all because of Bhagavan.
They don't have to do anything from their end.
Ama.
Okay. अयं निरालम्बनः इति भावना भगवतः आश्रितेषु यथा स्यात् तथा भक्ताः अवलम्बन्ते.
So the devotees take the support of Bhagavan in such a manner that they Bhagavataha ashriteshu esha bhavana vartate, that they have this feeling in their mind, ayam niralambanaha iti bhavana. Sorry. Iti bhagavataha bhavana iti bhavana bhagavataha ashriteshu yata syat. They surrender to Bhagavan in such a manner that the Bhagavan thinks, he has this feeling that, oh, this person is niralambanaha, he doesn't have any other support, so I have to support him. Iti yatha bhagavataha manasi esha bhavana jayate tatha bhaktaha kurvanti. Is that clear?
Okay.
So, ananya raksha vratinam chataka vratacharinaha bhavantam avalambante niralambana bhavanam. Anidam purva nidranam anastamaya bhanuman apadayasi pumsam tvam apunaswapa jagaram. Anidam purva nidranam pumsam anastamaya bhanuman tvam apunaswapa jagaram apadayasi. You pumsam tvam apadayasi. Pumsam for people, tvam Bhagavan, you bring about apadayasi. What do you give them? Apunaswapa jagaram. You give them a jagara, a waking up, such that they do not go back to sleep. So sleeping is completely covered by ajnanam and not knowing anything is called swapaha. It is a sleep. That is, you are getting back into samsara and you are constantly getting deluded by the things that are there in this samsara. But Bhagavan gives you a jagaraha, udbodhaha. He gives you a jnanam which wakes you up from this sleeping state of being in samsara, and it takes you towards Bhagavan, who is the moksha swarupa. So who gives that? Only he is capable of giving it. It is Advaita Vedante tu, you think the moment you have Brahma Jnanam, you are done. It is the Guru who gives you that knowledge, and then you contemplate on that knowledge. The moment you realize everything, you have the Brahma Jnanam. Advaita Vedanta is simple. Here, Bhagavan gives the moksha. Even in Saguna Upasana, it is through Sagunam, you go to Nirgunam, and then you get Jnanam, you attain moksha. Here it is very clear. It is only Viṣṇu who gives that moksha for people. So moksha is in the form that it is a waking state wherein you never go back to sleep. So punaha swapaha yatha nasyat tatha jagaraha. There is a waking up in such a case that there is no going back to sleep. So punaha samsaraha eva navidyate tatra. You give them a moksha wherein they do not go back to samsara. Now, for whom does he give? Pumsam. How are these people? Anidam purva nidranam. Anadikalena idam purvam asit iti idam purvam na asit tathapi vaktum na shakyate. So this samsara, for it has been there in these people for such a long time. It has continuously been with them. It is not something that is created from today. Idam purvam iti. The same nidra was there before also. Appadin solla mudiyadhu. Anidam purva is something where anadikalena pravritta eva. It has been constantly there for a long time. Tadrisha nidrayam nidranaha purushaha vartante. So these bhaktas are all sleeping, or they are in this samsara, which is an anadikalena pravritta. It is constantly there. There is no starting point for all of these karmas. You can't think about, or you can't ask questions about which is the first karma. It's not asked. That's all. So anidam purva nidranam pumsam. For those people who have been in this nidra or samsara, for them you provide a awakening. Who are you? You'll have to, if you have to give light to a person who is sleeping, Imagine someone is sleeping. When do they wake up? They wake up when the sun is shining. So here Bhagavan is the sun, and so they wake up. For a person who is sleeping, he is in a nidra. For him to wake up, for him to come to the jagara avastha, there should be the suryodaya. Here Bhagavan is the surya. But for this surya, there is no astamanam, no setting of sun at all. Anastamaya bhanuman. So immediately you know that there is Vyatireka Alankara here, wherein Bhagavan is not like the normal Surya, because Surya, he has a setting, that is, there is a sunset wherein people go back to sleep. But in this case, where Bhagavan is the Surya, there is no setting of sun, so people do not go back to sleep at all. That is, they are ever awakened. They clear? As we read the Pratipadartha and Alankara, it will be more clear. So, Anidam Purva Nidranam. Anidam Purva Anadikala Pravritta Nidra. Nidra ityukte Samsaranam. Samsaranam also means Samyak Sarati. Sarati means walking, right? So, Samsaranam means you get into this Janma and Punarjanma. You keep on going up and down or within this circle. Yeah. Padingo. Pumsam.
अनिदं पूर्व निद्राणाम् अनिदं पूर्व अनादिकाल प्रवृत्ता निद्रा संसरणं येषां तेषां पुंसां पुरुषाणाम् अनस्तमय भानुमान् अस्तमय रहित सूर्यः त्वं भवान् अपुनस्वापजागरं पुनः संसरण अभाववत् मोक्षम्
अभावः अस्य अस्ति इति अभाववान्
पुनः संसरण अभाववत् मोक्षम्
मोक्षः दने
It's in द्वितीया विभक्ति, right? जागरं प्रयच्छसि.
ஆமாம்மா, அப்ப இது வந்து அபாவவந்தம் மோக்ஷம்
correct
வரணுமா?
Or it may be it's not an apumsakalingam, it's pullinga only.
இது மோக்ஷஹங்கிறது புல்லிங்கம்.
Pullinga. That's why so it has to be like what you said. Abhavantam moksham. Apadayasi prayachasi. Bhavaha. Ata udayamano bhaswan nidritan prabodhayati. Evam tvam samsarino mochayasi. Alankaraha. Atra jivasya samsarana.
Is that clear? அது ஒரு தடவை அர்த்தம் சொல்லிடுங்க. அத
so just like a rising sun wakes up people from the sleep, you are uplifting and waking up the people from the samsara darkness and uplifting them into the moksha state. And they are uplifted in such a way that like normal sun cycle will have a daylight time and night time, and also they will have to take nidra and all, but you are an unset sun, you're like a sun which has no set at all, so no sun setting, so they will be forever in the moksha state and they will never fall back to the nidra state of the samsara.
Okay.
अलङ्कारः अत्र जीवस्य संसार अपवर्गौ निद्रा जागरण भावेन अध्यवसीयते इति अतिशयोक्तिः भगवती.
So Atishayokti, 1 minute. Atishayokti is such that there is Adhyavasana, Nigirya Adhyavasanam. So completely the Upamana, Upamanam, Upameyam, you have two things, right? So Upamana is the standard of comparison. Upameya is what we have to describe. Here we have to describe Samsara and Apavarga, which is Moksha. Samsara is the Janma Punarjanma cycle. Apavargaha is Moksha. Okay. Now these two are completely not there in the shloka at all. He only uses the word nidra and he uses the word jagaraha and swapa. These are the words that he uses. So completely samsara apavargau adhyavasiyete. They are totally lost in this. They have completely transformed into nidra and jagara. So it is atishayokti.
Without even stating the
words samsara apavarga.
Upameya is not even stated. Upamana part alone has
It is
overcovered
completely
it.
swallowed
Ah,
the upamana. Adoda definition is nigirya adhyavasanam. Nigirium is completely swallowing the upameya.
mm. भगवती सूर्यत्व आरोपस्य जागरणरूप प्रकृतकार्योपयोगित्वात् परिणामः.
This is straightforward. No, Bhanuman Tvam. Anga, there is an aropa there. You are sun. Bhagavan is sun here. So there is a rupaka. But why do we do that? Only the Surya can wake up people. அதனால பிரகிருத காரிய உபயோகித்தோம்.
சும்மா சும்மா நிறைய பரிணாம அலங்கார யாதவாபியுதயம்
ஆமா.
சும்மா சும்மா பரிணாம
வந்துட்டே இருக்குது. திருடமாயிடும் பரிணாம அலங்காரம்.
तत्र च अनस्तमयत्वं सूर्यास्तमय अनन्तर स्वापराहित्यकारणम् इति पदार्थहेतुक काव्यलिङ्ग अलङ्कारः.
Kavyalinga alankaraha is where you justify giving a reason. How is it that people can wake up and not go back to sleep at all? இல்லையா இந்த ராபிசஸ் மாதிரி அப்படி இல்லையே.
போலார் பீப்புள் போலார் ரீஜன் பீப்புள்
அந்த மாதிரி they don't even go up to sleep. எப்படி how can that happen அப்படின்னா the reason said is anastamaya bhanuman iti karanat सर्वदा तत्र भानोः सान्निध्यं वर्तते इति कारणात् तत्र there is no possibility of nidra at all அப்படிங்கிற மாதிரி எடுத்துக்கிறேன். So it's more like that becomes the hetu or the reason. The reason that people are always awake is because they are near the sun, which is always present, which doesn't set at all.
So that is a justification being given, and yes. Usually that kind of justification happens in the initial half of the shlokam or in the
wherever it can be. You can either have two ways of kavilingam. One is vakya, vakyartha hetuka kavilingam, or padartha hetuka kavilingam. You can have two sentences. Jitosi manda kandarpa machittesti trilochanaha. Two sentences. Hey manda kandarpa. Kandarpaha is Manmatha. Oh Manmatha, you have been won over by me. I have conquered you. Jitaha asi. This is one sentence. How can someone win over Manmatha? Machitte trilochanaha asti. So in my mind, Shiva is present. So that becomes the reason for winning over Manmatha. So this hetu is expressed in a sentence format. So it is Vakyartha hetuka kavyalingam. Whereas here, anastamaya bhanuman is just one word, and that anastamaya hetu is present within just one word. So it is a padartha hetuka.
So if it is just not the two padas, if it's one pada, it is a
one padam, not even pada, one word.
Okay.
Not
it can
pada.
Be smaller than a padam.
Yeah. So it is just one. It can be smaller than a pada, or if a sentence, there can be two sentences within one padam itself. So the padam does not matter at all. We are only looking at whether the reason hetu is given in one word or in one sentence.
One sentence means it can be spanning across the entire pada or even two pada or any.
Yes, it can.
Okay. एतेषां त्रयाणां परस्पर आश्रितत्वात् संकरः. So Atishayokti is there in this, and then Parinama is there, and then Kavyalinga Alankara also is there. So if you have Sankaran like with more than 3 also, we'll have the Angangi Bhava, right?
Yeah. This is Angangi Bhava. So the main Alankara here would be Parinama Alankara, for which you have the Padartha Hetuka and the Atishayokti as a Anga.
Helpers.
Helpers.
Okay. Parinamaha is the Angi and Atishayokti and Kavyalingam are the Angau.
Yes.
तेन भगवतः सूर्यद्वैलक्षण्यरूपो व्यतिरेकः ध्वन्यते इति अलङ्कारेण अलङ्कारध्वनिः.
From
Dvanyate
all of these.
alankarena alankara dvanihi. Oh.
So you have alankara in the vachyartha, in the main meaning, and from there the suggested meaning is also vyatireka, which is another alankara, wherein you're showing the difference between the normal Surya and Vishnu. Vishnu is so much more different from Surya. Surya astamanam bhavati, Suryasya tu astamanam bhavati, kintu bhagavatah astamanam nasti eva. And Surya is capable of giving sleep to others when he goes down, when he sets, right? So, but asya tu jagaraha kidrishah vartate Vishnoho. Tatra punaha swapaha eva nasti tatha jagaranam dadati Vishnuhu. Kintu Surya udaye जागरः कीदृशः भवति तत्र तु पुनः सूर्य अस्तमन समये स्वापः भवति so is very different here.
So the vyatirekah dvanyate is fine, that much is fine. Alankarena alankara dvanihi means what?
From we understand anastamaya bhanuman from that padartha hetuka kavyalingam, and with the atishayokti and parinama together, because of these alankaras only, we are able to understand that Bhagavan is different from the normal Surya. So there is an alankara in the Vachyartha. Vachyarthasya alankaraha ye vartante, taihi alankaraihi vyatireka alankaraha dhvanyate.
But it is not giving alankaraihi alankara dvanihi. It's alankarena alankara dvanihi.
Adu vandu samjna, because when you define the different dhvanis, you say vastuna vastu dhvani, alankarena alankara dhvani. Appadina solluvom. It's like a combined combination. That's all. Alankara is like a jatyeka vachanam madri.
Oh, so even if we have 3 alankaras doing this alankara dvani, then also it is just alankarena alankara dvani.
It's a name.
Okay.
Yeah. Anidam purva nidranam anastamaya bhanuman apadayasi pumsam tvam apunaswapa jagaram. Chaya.